I hated the way that Dubois jumped into the ring during his post-fight interview. Usyk is a man of character and integrity. If you're next, you're next. You don't have to like try and back him into a corner and attack him on air. I just didn't. I hated the way he did that. You could have at least waited till the interview was like wrapping up, and the way Usyk just kind of dismissed it was just like, yeah, okay, you're next, Mr. Excellency, make this fight. I just loved it. Like, why would anyone think that Usyk was afraid to make that fight? I get Dubois. There's so much money there. You're talking $100 million. If you want to act like that, I just didn't think it did anything for Daniel's stock, and I like Daniel Dubois.
Now, here's what I'm going to say to that. I agree. I understand that. I understand what you just said, your those thoughts. I really do. Here's what I would say towards that. Not that anything really has to be said towards that. Dubois is a different guy. He's a confident guy now after that. Dubois still has that burning at him that he lost to Usyk. So there's pride there. There's something to prove there. Besides that, he's got one of the belts. Besides, there's a lot of money there. Besides all that, there's also he wants to finish this up to Dubois. He's made the record clean. He's cleaned the slate, redeeming himself with the last few fights, and then, of course, culminating with the ultimate in redemption, winning the heavyweight title against Joshua. Not too many people thought he had a shot. So he's done that. He's like I said, he's cleaned the slate in that way. But there's still a couple spots on that slate. One of the spot that's still on that slate is Usyk. He lost to Usyk. He got stopped by Usyk. And he feels like he's a different guy. And I agree with him. He's a different guy. But I agree with the way he did it. I think, unfortunately, now, I think that was part of why he did it, what I just described, that he's got that in his craw, that he wants to redeem himself against Usyk, and he won't feel... It's kind of like Joe Louis. When Joe Louis came up, he got knocked out on the way up by Schweling, a great fighter from Germany. And then he won the title against Braddock. And when they called him champ, he said, "Don't call me champ," he told his people. And he said, "What do you mean, you're champ?" "Not until I beat that guy." And everyone knew who he meant, Schmeling. Not till I beat that guy. I think in some ways Dubois is saying that. Like, I can't really feel the way I need to feel as a champ until I beat that guy. And he's right. To get all the titles, you got to beat that guy. But I think it's also on a personal level. He's that guy that beat him. He's got to beat him. I think that was part of it, Ken. I'm not making an excuse for Dubois, who I like as a kid. I'm not making an excuse for him. But I think that's... And I also think nowadays, the way things are, Ken, everyone thinks that they got to do that. You know what I mean? They got to get in the ring. They got to call the next guy out. They got to do that stuff for the promotion of the fight, for the clicks that it gets on social media, for the cameras that are there. I just feel like these guys feel like have to do that. You don't have to do. To your point, Ken, you don't have to do that. You could do what Usyk does. Just win. They asked me, is there anyone out there, Ken? And maybe this is the way I finish this one. Is there anyone out there on the horizon who can beat Usyk? And you know what my answer was? First of all, I think Dubois is a dangerous guy. I think he's gotten better. But right now, you know, they're gonna look at that. They're gonna look at you got Parker, and Parker's earned his way. Parker is fighting Dubois. Joseph Parker, he's earned that right with the wins that he's with Wilder and with the Chinese fighter. He's won those fights. He's earned the right to fight for the title. He's an experienced guy. He's a warrior. He's a good fighter. You know, he's got a real good trainer in Andy Lee. Both of them have earned the right to fight for the title. And that's going to be a tough fight, but they're going to fight Dubois. And then, of course, everyone's going to look now to unify it once again, even though he already did it. They're going to look for Usyk to unify it again with a guy that he has beaten. But again, a guy who's a different version of himself now. He is, in Dubois. But they asked the right question. The reporter said, Teddy, who's on the horizon? Because in their mind, he beat everyone. And some of the guys that are all right, they're not at that level yet. They're not developed enough. They're not like the kid I talked about, who I think a lot of, Ituuma. You know, it's not time for him yet. So who's on the horizon? Who's there now to beat Usyk? And I gave an answer. You ready for my answer?
Yep.
The same guy who's been on the horizon to beat all the greats. Father Time.
Yep.
The same guy who's just laying in wait. Whether your name is Ali, whether your name is Lewis, whether your name is Usyk. Just waiting for that chance to get in that place with you. Father Time, the only undefeated fighter. Usyk's what, 38 now? I think he's 38, 37, 38, whatever. That's the only thing. I'm not saying he's showing deterioration. I'm not even going there. I'm not saying that. No. And he lives the right life, and that's important, very important.
37, be 38 in January.
Yeah, so he's almost 38. So, but I'm just saying, it seems like with all the greats, with all the things that I just laid out there that makes them great, unfortunately, some of the greats, Marciano didn't know, he got out, but some of the greats stayed too long. Partly because of what makes them great doesn't get shut off. Their belief that they can always win. Their ego, their beliefs, their confidence that they're always going to find a way to win. That made them champions, made them rich, made them, these famous people, these people that have a great legacy. But they don't know how to turn that off. It made them great. Sometimes it can also hurt them at the end.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to go down that track. I hope he don't. I wish Ali didn't. I wish, Joe Louis didn't. But things are what they are. Life is what they are.
Right.
What it is for different people, different circumstances. But I can't see anyone else right now. Dubois would be an interesting fight, though. It would be. For me, if I'm Usyk, and I'm not, I'm going to say what I probably would have said about Tom Brady, which I would have been wrong. What I probably would have said about, Michael Jordan. He stayed, he didn't hurt his legacy. Either did Brady. I'm just saying. I would have said walk off into the sunset. Just, you know what I mean? It's perfect. It's perfect. You've done everything. You've made a ton of money. You've done everything. You've represented your country. You still represent them. Walk off into the sunset. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for various reasons. And probably if I was there, it wouldn't happen either. Who knows? We don't know till we're in that position. But what we do know is he is great. He's one of the greatest. And he's the champion of the world. He's the heavyweight champion. I know Dubois got the IBF, but for all intents and purposes, the guy you're looking at.
Yeah, but no one believes that that's legitimate. Everyone knows that Usyk is the unified champion.
And again, to sum it up, I think I analyzed it pretty solid. But he just, that fifth round, he loses that fifth round. It was a good round. It was a good round give credit to Fury. He did what he had to do. But then Usyk did what he had to do, and he kept doing it.
Yep.
He kept doing it. He was brilliant. He was brilliant. Fury was better, but Usyk is special.